I always say when there's a nurse involved, changes do occur. We are the ones that are on the front line caring for patients on a daily basis. We have the lens that we not only look at the patient, but we look at the community impact.
We really have this opportunity to connect the dots of how health is impacted by the environment and climate change.
Whether in our professional life or private lives, we are impacted by climate change.
And those consequences will be felt across all patient populations, no matter where you work and what setting you're in.
Structural racism, I think, has a lot to do with the impacts of environmental health on specific communities of people. Being an individual as a Black woman, coming from an urban background in an impoverished city, I witnessed and grew up firsthand in understanding limitations that were built around me. Underserved populations having higher rates of asthma, right? Because they're within housing systems and communities where they have a higher risk of being exposed to air pollution.
We need to be sensitive to the fact that most communities that have the higher air pollution burden and contamination are the ones with the least carbon footprint. They're the ones that are experiencing this pollution source way higher than other communities or neighborhoods.
Nurses have identified concrete ways that climate change is impacting our clients, because we're seeing the direct impacts of climate change on the health of families that can't afford climate control in their own homes. I worked with a family who couldn't afford to have AC, and they had a very elderly person and a child with severe asthma living in the home, and the child had an asthma exacerbation as a result of the severe heat.
I grew up in the Philippines and I know too well, although it seems like we are able to adopt good things and adapt to the environment, but suffering from the devastating effects of climate should just be considered as part of growing up.
When I was a kid, I used to love really warm summer days. I think we all did. I had a friend with a pool, and I spent my warm summer days just soaking it up in that pool. But now, whenever I see warm summer days, particularly days that are maybe 95 degrees or warmer, I get concerned we're gonna have death. I get concerned that there are people who are literally going to die because it's so hot out. We as nurses have the trusted voice to the public to really show them the connection that climate change is a public health issue.
We have the opportunity to cut climate pollution by half or in half by 2030. And really the time to act is now. We know that low-income communities, communities of color and mid to lower income nations are suffering already devastating effects from climate change. And any additional investment in fossil fuels will continue to drive up costs of global warming.
We need President Biden to finish the job and act on climate, because climate can't wait.